Well, it is 10 o'clock. It's different times there. And I'm going to go ahead. John, I've given you the right to record here. And so have you started?
I have.
We want to welcome you all out to this call today. And I couldn't be more excited because I happen to just love, as well as the rest of you, we love Alfred Hanser, our co-CEO with Linda. And we love you, Alfred. We're so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for the time that you have taken out of your busy schedule and world to be with us at Director School. And Director School, we've had a segment of it. It's gone for 6 weeks, and now we are doing it. We're in our 4th week. This is our 4th time, and we have got a good group of 21 here on the call today. We meet on Fridays at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's open to everyone in GIA so that all of you can learn. And today we're so happy to have Alfred in my living room with us again. And I go back to almost a year ago when Alfred was here with Linda, and being able to feel his great love and his great passion, his knowledge, his expertise. He is one of my favorite people on the planet. I have a new favorite. And so I'm so happy, Alfred, that you're here with us. And we want to welcome everybody else too. We have several people that are on the call, and we have a new member of my team that's here, Mark Harvey, who has studied water forever. And I'm so happy that he jumped on this call today so that he can be here to hear Alfred explain the technology, the products, as well as for everybody else that's on this call today. So thank you, and we invite you to make sure that once this is going to be recorded, right? We are allowed to record this?
Yeah, it's John.
Okay, so
John is kind of in charge of it.
Then it will be able to be shared with everyone in your downlines and cross lines. So get this out to everybody, and thank you all for being here today. And Alfred, we're excited to hear from you.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. For those of you who haven't met yet, I hope I will do so soon. We have a great conference coming up with GIA, Success Conference as we call them, in September, middle of September in Palm Springs, California. And very excited to be at the conference and to obviously meet many of you. What I'd like to do this morning is give everybody a little bit of an overview of, well, first, before I continue, can everybody hear me okay? Just somebody give me a nod or quick chat and make sure. Okay, Sue, Karen, anybody? Okay. So if that changes at any point, please let me know. Also, I'm hearing quite a bit of background noise with phones ringing and stuff going on in the background. So I think there's an option for everybody. If you want to just listen, just mute yourself out. There's a mute button on the Zoom panel on your dashboard. And that allows then everybody to kind of hear the information. So I appreciate that. If at any point in time you have questions, I know there's already a chat, I think, that came up here. I'm going to see. Okay, and if there's any questions, I'll be happy to look at the chat after the presentation and then just answer any questions you may have. John, I thought that, during these kind of different sections or segments of what I'm going to be discussing, you probably want to throw a few things as well. So just interrupt me at any time. Okay, so with that, the invitation for this morning's participation on this Director's School segment came as a result of a call that I did this past Wednesday. I'm still hearing a whole lot of noise there. I'm not sure what the story is. I don't know.
There's a couple of phones that are not muted. I noticed. I went through.
Okay, cool. All right, so if you're on your phone, please do us a favor, just mute your phone. It's going to be very challenging to kind of talk over all of the background noise. I hope you understand from a presenter's point of view, it's a little bit challenging. So appreciate your participation and your collaboration. So with that, basically what I was saying is that John and I had a conversation, John Williams, that is One Star Presidential Director in GIA Wellness. And John said, hey, really enjoyed your Wednesday morning overview call. Is that something that you could maybe talk a little bit in a little more detail on this Director School training a Zoom call on Friday. I said, yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. Always great to see GEA consultants and share some information that's hopefully helpful. So that's what I'm here to do this morning. And so the goal is to kind of tether the things together, to connect the dots, so to speak, take a 30,000-foot view on what makes GEA unique and different in the marketplace that no other company has. As you guys know, with the rollout of 5G technology, we are staring down the biggest human health and wellness experiment in the history of this planet. There's never been a time where people in the United States alone will have 600,000 cell phone towers in their midst. And they will be beaming signals every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So knowing that that's about to happen, and by the way, half of those towers are already there, the other half is going to be rolled out with the new 5G rollout. And so since we have a little more time this morning than we do on a 15, 20-minute morning call, I'm going to go into a little more detail, if that's okay with you, as to what that means for human health and wellness. So we know that the World Health Organization has already classified electromagnetic radiation, wireless radiation, as a class 2B possible carcinogen. So that puts it in the same category as some really, really powerful toxins. And for those of you who understand and know the background story, you know that the World Health Organization was in the process of not just terming it a possible carcinogen, but a carcinogen, period. And of course, there was a ton of industry pushback, as you can imagine. Telecommunications industry, very powerful, deep pockets, and that would have been really devastating if the World Health Organization had gone ahead and termed it a definite carcinogen, which a lot of scientists believe it is. And I personally believe it is. And when you look at the research over the years, you know, this is the largest human experiment we've ever been a part of. And we just don't know what really the long-term, 20, 50, 100 years from now, what's going to happen when people get radiated every single day by this wireless radiation that all of us are exposed to. So the infrastructure that's about to be rolled out here for 5G, and 5G, the reason for its rollout is there's so many devices now that are connected. I mean, you watch television, if you see the commercials, it's all about interconnectedness and connectivity in your home and the smart home and all of these things of all the devices that are speaking to each other, and your, you know, artificial intelligence, voice activated gadget that's in the center of the table, and your fridge that tells you what's in the fridge and what you need to go buy. And of course, your wireless router and your cell phones and your cordless phones and your smart meter, everything's become super smart. Everything's become connected. Everything's become technologically speaking to each other. And with those rays and beams flying through the air that are invisible and that you certainly can't smell them and you can't see them, people think, well, it can't be really that bad. Well, the human body is really created on subtle energy. I mean, that's how our cells communicate, is intercellular communication is minuscule electromagnetic impulses that triggers that. So your brain telling your arm to lift up or to go down, there's neurons firing that make that happen, that make your muscle then do what you want it to do. And that that communication inside your body, intercellular communication, is a very delicate network. And that delicate network is now being messed with a man-made network of frequencies that you're exposed to on a daily basis. So the reality that we're staring down now is a new technological evolution with 5G being rolled out, where small cell phone towers are going to get smaller. They're going to burst into closer proximity to all of us, to where we live, to where we sleep, to where our children are born, to where elderly people are trying to still thrive and have longevity and enjoy their life. So we are literally going to be inundated even much more than we already are now with electromagnetic radiation on a daily basis. And so in order to understand why GIA does what it does, in order to understand why we bring wellness solutions to the wireless age, we first have to understand what are the problems, both physiologically and environmentally. Because once you understand a problem, you can create solutions for it. And that's precisely our approach in GIA. So my goal for this morning is to share with you, kind of to concisely develop, explain, illustrate what is GIA's core differentiator, what is that all-encompassing 360-degree approach to bringing our patented and proprietary wellness solutions to people that live in this wireless age, and how and why people and companies and organizations and teams, et cetera, need to know why GIA is the only company in the world that doesn't just address electromagnetic radiation emitted, let's say, by cell phones or creating solutions for smart meters, et cetera, but we understand and have solutions for every aspect of the mechanism that is triggered by electromagnetic radiation exposure. And that mechanism affects your hydration, it affects your nourishment, it affects your energy, your biofield, it affects your intercellular communication, it affects your weight, either to not be able to lose weight or to potentially gain weight, so your metabolism, and many other things, including premature aging. So we know that man-made frequencies are a stressor. Man-made frequencies have free radical scavenging, they are free radicals, and they attack our bodies, and our body needs to have a real strong immune response and a real strong immune system in order to be able to withstand that assault of frequency-based exposure. So again, I'm going to ask everybody, please mute your phones. We can hear you in the background. We can hear background noises.
Hey, Alfred.
There's a mute button on your phone and there's a mute button on the Zoom. Please do me a favor.
Let me just jump in here. Karen, you have the ability to mute people. So if you click on participants, the participants come up. And if you put your cursor where you see they're not muted, you can mute them. So people are coming on.
Okay, and I have been trying to keep track of that, and then somehow they get unmuted again. So everybody, Dorje sent a text out that said 918#. Will mute yourself, so please keep an eye on your mute, because sometimes you're coming in and out faster than I can.
You can do that, so just keep an eye on it. You can actually mute them. So
I am doing, and there's another one that just got unmuted, so yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. All right, so let's get started. I mentioned hydration, I mentioned nourishment, I mentioned energy, the biofield health, I mentioned weight management, and I mentioned aging. So when we talk about hydration, for example, there's two things that we need to be really, really cognizant about. The first thing is that the environmental aspect of what has happened to water over the years. First of all, we know that hydration is, they don't call water the liquid of life for no reason. We are, 75, 80% water. Our brain is 90+% water. Water is absolutely essential. We go 3 days without water, we're dead. You can go up to maybe 40 days without food, but you can't go 3 days without water. So we know hydration is absolutely essential to your body being able to withstand environmental toxicity. And so one of the things that we're addressing here in GIA is the problem of what has happened to water sources, right? So we have compromised water sources. We have environmental toxicity, especially electromagnetic radiation, but other things as well, of course, that literally disrupts the water molecular alignment. So when we look at what the body is able to absorb, you look at research from back in the early 2000s, Dr. Peter Auger, who got the Nobel Prize for the discovery of aquaporins, which are the human water channels. Those water channels can only properly absorb water if it comes in a single file. Well, the water we drink every day is not in a single file. unless you drink eye water, the GI water, because we have the patent technology to single file align water. But where the problem comes in is that the water you buy at the store, even if it's filtered, even if there's reverse osmosis that it's been put through, even if it's distilled for that matter, that water's molecules, because of its exposure to environmental toxicity, the frequencies in particular, man-made frequencies, they mess with the molecular alignment of water. And then what you get is you have water, yes, it's liquid, but that water, the molecules are clumped together. Think of it as a Rubik's Cube. Like we all remember, I'm sure, the Rubik's Cube. It's all a clump. Well, your aquaporins can't absorb a clump. The aquaporins can only absorb the single file. They can only absorb, water molecules that are in a long range alignment, almost like a pearl string. So water treatment such as reverse osmosis, distilling, filtering, it not only, the environmental toxicity not only messes with the molecular alignment, but reverse osmosis, distilling, filtering, etc., they also strip the water of its life force, of its own specific frequency. Every substance on the planet has some frequency to it. And a substance that's healthy for your body has what's called a bio-friendly frequency. A substance that's not healthy for your body has, from an energetic perspective, has either no frequency, it's dead, or it has a frequency that is not compatible with your body's own frequency. So when the body is expected to absorb water, the body needs water that is both in the right molecular alignment so that the absorption can happen rapidly and effectively. And the body needs to absorb that water, or prefers to absorb that water if it has the right frequency to it, the right energetic signature to it. So again, the problem with compromised water sources is twofold. Number one, the molecular alignment of the water is not suitable for great absorption in the body. And number two, the processes that the water's been put through, filtering, distilling, reverse osmosis, etc., which yes, cleans the water, but it also strips the water of essential vibrancy. And so that's problem number one as it relates to hydration. Problem number two is the body's compromise, or the compromised body. The body cannot effectively absorb non-single file aligned water. The body will absorb some of that water because it's going to break down that Rubik's Cube over a period of time into smaller particles and smaller molecules, but the body has a hard time. It takes time and energy to do that. So the body will only absorb a small fraction of what you're actually drinking. Part of the reason why people that drink water all day long, every day, if it's not the right alignment of water, guess what's happening? They run to the restroom a lot, but they're not absorbing a whole lot of water because the water doesn't come into the body in the right alignment, nor with the right energetic signature to it. In addition to that, speaking of a compromised body, when the body is stressed from electromagnetic radiation exposure, the absorption of the body becomes compromised because the body's in a fight or flight mode. It's not open to receiving hydration and nutrition very effectively. Think about it this way. Fight or flight mode, we all know, what is the automatic reaction of the body when we go in fight or flight mode? Is to contract. We don't expand. When we go into fight or flight mode, people cower, people become smaller, more dense. It's the opposite of being open and positive and forward moving. It's, yeah, you may run away from something, but everything contracts in the body. For those of us who have had extreme fight or flight mode in the past, something scared us, maybe we're out in the wilderness and there's a big animal and we're starting to panic. I mean, you feel it that afternoon, you feel it the next day, you're sore, you're tired, you're exhausted, all that adrenaline that's being put out. And so one of the things that happens with electromagnetic radiation exposure is it's a toxin. The body knows it's a toxin, it interprets it as a toxin, and toxicity puts the body into fight or flight mode. And as a matter of fact, there was a meta-analysis out there that showed, meta-analysis is when they take a bunch of studies, put them together, and they look for commonalities among the studies. And they showed that a large percentage of electromagnetic radiation related studies all pointed to free radical damage and stress response. And we know the domino effect that that has on the human body. I'm not going to go through all the negatives of stress, but I think we've heard enough in literature over the years and from experts and scientists that stress affects the way we age, stress affects the way we sleep, stress affects the way we digest food, stress affects every single aspect of our wellness. So when we look at the problem of hydration and what impacts the body in a negative way, both environmentally as well as from the body perspective, the way the body is compromised in an EMR saturated environment, electromagnetic radiation that is, we know that there's a need for a solution to that. There's a need for something that helps counteract that. And that's where, from a hydration perspective, our iWater activation system absolutely shines. It's a technology, as you guys know, that's patented. It's patented for the long-range molecular alignment of liquid substances. That alone tells you that what this technology is designed to do and what it does is it breaks clumps that the body has a hard time breaking down, and it takes time and energy to do that. And as we age, that ability of the body diminishes as many other processes in the body slows down. Our technology, that patented technology, is designed to, as we call, activate or to break down molecular clumps into long-range molecules and make the liquid that you're absorbing significantly more absorbable as a result. Because again, the body, the aquaporin, the water channel in the body, needs water that is in a long-range molecular alignment. And we have that patented technology to help that alignment take place. And we don't just have the patent technology for the activation or liquefaction, if you want to call it that, of water. We also have that for the activation and liquefying of liquid nutritionals. So, because they're water-based as well. And so we really cover the entire gamut when it comes to single file aligning. And by the way, that's a marketing term because long-range molecular alignment is a mouthful, and a lot of people probably don't quite understand what that would really mean in real life. So single file alignment is the layman's term, so to speak, SFA, for the physical process of putting liquid, water that has been filtered, reverse osmosis, distilled, whatever, however you consume your water or filter tap water, and you put it in the iWater pitcher, you put the activator, patented activator on, you press a button, and 30 minutes later, that shining down of frequencies that the iWater activation system creates is what helps put those molecules in that longer range. How do we know that that happens? Well, there's published research that shows that the liquidity of the viscosity of the water after activation is entirely different than the viscosities of the water pre-activation. We also have absorption studies that have been done that show the difference in absorption in the human body. And we know, again, when you're properly hydrated, you have one of the key elements to your body being able to withstand the assault of daily toxicity in a much better way. If you're hydrated properly, which that is the core notion behind the iWater activation system, is optimal hydration. It is giving your body the hydration fuel it needs in order for all the body's processes to fire on all cylinders. So when people say, gosh, I love the iWater and what it does and how I feel and how quickly I recover and how much energy I have and how great I sleep and all of these things, and maybe people have even reported to shed a few pounds because the body detoxification is different. All of those aspects are great to hear, but at the end of the day, it's your body doing it. The body just needed the right liquid and the right fuel in order to do it. Because again, when you look up dehydration and its effects on the human body, it's very clear that when you properly hydrate, that a lot of these negative effects are going to be counteracted because the body has now finally the ability to do its job. So at the end of the day, as great as these technologies are, they're first and foremost designed to support the body in its own self-defense, in its own self-repair mechanism. So that's the hydration aspect. And before I move on to nourishment and to anti-aging and to specific TerraG inspired energy products and how all of that fits together in this 360-degree approach, I want to make sure that, John, if you had any questions or anything that you want to add, or Karen or anybody else who's on the call, maybe wants to share a couple of observations about the iWater that they've had, great experiences, anything that pertains to the hydration topic, and then I'll move on to these other chapters.
Well, Alfred, I'm so glad that we're going over this in this way. And I think the most exciting thing is that when I work with people to have them try the iWater out or to start it for the first time, you never know what's going to happen. And so many great things happen. So I thought it'd be great if we could have a couple people maybe share a story about how the iWater has impacted them. Karen, I see your hand up there.
Yes, I do want to share that I had pernicious anemia, Alfred, and I don't know if you know that, but my hematocrit was at 17, my hemoglobin was at 5 before I met you. And after being on the iWater for 6 months, I went back to the doctor and he said, I don't know what you're doing, but you are not anemic. You're not even anemic anymore. Your hematocrit is at 36, which is still on the low end of normal. So I have struggled with, with some exhaustion, but he said, what have you done? What have you changed? Are you taking the iron supplements? Well, I didn't take the iron supplements because my body couldn't digest them for some reason and didn't like it. And, but the iWater was the only thing I had done, as well as the layering of the EMF protection. And so I wanted to share that because later on I studied about blood and water, and I was more convinced that the iWater single file aligned water had done what my body needed. And I can't scientifically explain that, but after watching a specific video that I watched, I knew that it was the iWater that had changed my blood from being pernicious anemic to the point where the doctor said, we don't even know why you're alive. So I just feel like in many ways, I do owe my life to Gia, and I am very grateful for all of the products that have been of such a huge blessing in my life.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Karen. And just, to reiterate my point from earlier is really at the end of the day, what's happening is when you drink the iWater, when you consume it, when your body is properly hydrated, your body has the ability to change certain imbalances and deficiencies. It has the ability to do that itself. What the body needs is the support system. So it's very important that we are really prudent about how we talk about these technologies, how we share them with others, because, and I think that's an important training tip also for everybody on the line, that these are not medical devices. They're not, what Gia puts out is not something that is designed to either treat something or cure something or reverse something or even prevent something. That's not what these technologies are designed to do. What they're designed to do is give your body the best chance to self-repair, to be the best it can be, to balance things that are maybe imbalanced. Because as we know, when the body is properly hydrated, nourished, and properly energized, the body is a miracle in self-repair. The body is a miracle in healthy aging as opposed to premature aging. So if you do the right things, hydration-wise, nutrition-wise, weight management-wise, energy-wise, metabolism-wise, etc., and toxicity-wise, you will put your body in a position where it will self-repair and it will self-balance and it will do things that the body knows how to do. It's just that we live in such a toxic world now, and we consume overly processed foods, and we drink things that are not water and that are not the right type of water, that so many of these factors are starting to mess with billions of people's health and wellness. And so all we're trying to do is give people support mechanisms to help the body self-repair and self-balance. And that's really what's happening. So of course, experiences are individual. Not every person will have the same experience because not every person has the same imbalance. Not every person needs the same type of bodily self-repair. So John, I hope that helped. I'll hand it back to you.
Yep, that was great, Alfred. Appreciate that. Let's move on to the next topic.
Okay, great. So let's talk about nourishment. And again, just so that people understand, the reason why I'm going through these segments, hydration, nourishment, energy, weight management, etc., aging, is so that you understand the connection between electromagnetic radiation and environmental toxicity on one hand, and why you need to, if you want to counteract the effects of electromagnetic radiation exposure, you need to see it as a holistic counterattack. You can't just focus on, well, I'm going to put this thing on my cell phone and they tell me it's going to help reduce the radiation from my cell phone, and that's the end of it. No, there's all these other domino effects that are happening in your body, and that's why the counter solution, the counterattack to EMR exposure needs to be a multifaceted approach. And that's a 360-degree approach that we're talking about, and that's extremely unique. Nobody else has that. So the first puzzle piece was hydration. I think we all understand the environmental aspect as to what messes with our water sources and the body, how our bodies are compromised and how the water in the body is compromised, and how GIA helps counteract those effects with bringing the outward activation system to the market. So now let's move on to the second puzzle piece, and that's nourishment. The issue with nourishment is very similar to hydration, because nutrients are often void of the life force due to the processing that they go through. So when a strawberry is being picked off a vine, by the time that strawberry, let's say that strawberry grows next to a freeway. So it's already, I read a great quote earlier this morning. Somebody said, to eat a non-organic strawberry, you might as well eat a sponge that's full with pesticides. And I was like, wow, that makes total sense, because depending on where that grows and how many pesticides are sprayed on it so that it looks nice and red and ripe in the grocery aisle, it's unbelievable the amount of toxicity it's exposed to. So the processing, the trying to make sure that it stays alive longer, all these preservatives, etc., those are messing with the life force of a nutrient. And in addition to that, when you have a compromised metabolism already in the body, because the body's in a fight or flight response, like we talked about earlier, the body starts trapping toxins. Certain larger molecule toxins have a hard time getting out of your body, and the body has a harder time properly absorbing nutrients. So the compromise, again, is both environmental, because the nutrients we're consuming are either not clean, they are either full with pesticides, toxins, etc., or they've been processed so heavily that what you're consuming, although it has a pretty strawberry on the package, the juice, I mean, we've all seen juices that literally when you read the fine print, it says contains less than 1% juice. And you're like, wow, I'm drinking supposedly a fresh strawberry juice and it's got less than 1% actual juice in it. So the nutrition, the nourishment we're getting is improper and it's insufficient oftentimes. And so unless you eat fully organic, and unless you have the right supplementation, and unless you live in a place that has zero pollution and there is no radiation around you, you are going to be facing these issues of nourishment. So how are we trying to attack that issue with GIA and what we have in GIA? Well, first of all, we have single file alignment powered detoxification. That is our GIA Trim Cleanse. As you guys know, every single product that we have in GIA that's liquid runs through the single file alignment process. So what we want to make sure is that as you're consuming nutrients, that those nutrients are in a liquid that has the right molecular alignment, that has the right, the potential to being absorbed, rather than just being in big clumps on a molecular level. In addition to that, we charge every product with energy resonance technology. Every single product, liquid, capsule, solid, not solid, runs through the ERT charging process in GIA. That means the life force that the product has lost due to processing, we are trying to bring back as much as we possibly can by running that nutrient, that nutritional supplement, that product through this intense energization process, through that subtle energy biofield supporting process. So we have, in addition to the detoxification aspect, we have liquid nutrition for optimal absorption. That nutrition has antioxidants in it. That nutrition has a proprietary antioxidant blend. I'm talking about the GIA iThrive now. That is a great companion product to the cleanse. So You're helping your detoxification, the body's natural detoxification, with the aloe vera, the ginger, the proven detox ingredients that are in a liquid that's single file aligned and ERT charged. You then have the iThrive, which has a super antioxidant blend. It's literally a blend that is close to 6,000 milligrams in each bottle of 32 ounces of that you get with the iThrive. So you have 13 or 14 different vitamins in there. So daily, 100% of your daily required value of those vitamins you are consuming when you have an ounce of iThrive a day. So nobody in the marketplace has a combination of a potent antioxidant liquid that was custom tailored to counteract the nutritional deficiencies that are triggered by electromagnetic radiation exposure. I want you to kind of let that digest for a second. There's nobody else in the marketplace that has a custom designed, a custom tailored antioxidant super formula that you can consume on a daily basis, and that's been custom tailored to what we found, what science experts research is showing is happening on a metabolism level. Remember the meta-analysis that I mentioned a few minutes ago. It talked about the free radical issue that is associated with electromagnetic radiation, the stress issue that's associated with it. And so when your cells are being attacked by a man-made frequency that the body doesn't understand, your metabolism will eventually change. The way to metabolize nutrients will change eventually because you're constantly in the fight or flight response. And we know that there is a domino effect that occurs in the body when that exposure happens. So we have, in addition to that, to the cleanse and the iThrive that's powered with single file alignment and ERT, plus the nutrients that are necessary to support the body in both the self-defense, that's the antioxidant aspect of the iThrive, and supporting in the self-detoxification, that's the detoxification aspect of the cleanse. So that's why if I were a GIA customer, the two products for sure, in addition to my radiation interventions in my house that we're going to talk about in a minute, for sure, nutritionally, the products that I will consume every single day is exactly what's in my cup. iThrive, Cleanse, and iWater. Those three every single day, multiple times a day, for me at least, because I know what the ingredients are like from these products. I know what is in Cleanse and why it's in there. I know what is in iThrive and why it's in there. I know what the iWater does and why it is part of this overall solution. This is the way I look at this is my internal toxicity defense right here. That's how I look at it. Why? Because I'm feeding my body the right hydration that it needs. I'm feeding my body the right detoxification support that is absolutely necessary when I'm in a toxic environment, especially one that's saturated with electromagnetic radiation. And I am consuming antioxidants and a mineral blend that I know I'm probably not getting out of my regular diet, and my regular diet's pretty good. So that to me is an absolute staple. iThrive, Cleanse, and iWater. And it's a staple whether I knew nothing about electromagnetic radiation or I know everything about electromagnetic radiation. But if you're talking to somebody about electromagnetic radiation, you are doing them a disservice if all you're talking about is, oh, you got to protect your cell phone or you got to protect your wireless router. No, you got to first and foremost make sure your body is in shape, the best shape it can possibly be, to counteract the assault that the body is being exposed to on a daily basis. So you have to feed the body not just the right hydration, you have to also feed it the right nutrition. So in addition to the Cleanse and the iThrive, and I hope you see the connections there, how that connects to electromagnetic radiation and why those products are part of our lineup, you have in GIA, we have sublingual products that support, for example, a healthy sleep pattern or a healthy joint support, healthy recovery. We're talking about, iRest. We're talking about with joint support, Motion Plus. We're talking about recovery support with Edge. When you break down just the ingredients in those products, those ingredients are there for a specific reason. And the reason is to feed your body supplementation that the body needs to support certain processes in the body. We know that, for example, there is 6 or 7 different reasons why people don't sleep. And, from restlessness, not being able to shut the mind off, from hunger to thirst to a disrupted brainwave pattern, which, by the way, that is one of the key issues with electromagnetic radiation, is they have done EEGs and they've shown that brainwave patterns in people are highly disrupted when you're on a cell phone. As a matter of fact, a Swiss study has shown that a child that's on a cell phone for 2 minutes before it goes to sleep has disrupted brainwave pattern for up to 2 hours afterwards. So we know, imagine, how's the body going to sleep? They talk about on television, I'm sure you've seen it, reducing your screen time, reducing your exposure to the blue light from the cell phone. People say if you want to sleep well at night, make sure you turn off your iPad, your iPhone, etc., whatever phone you may have, and don't stare at that screen right before you go to sleep because it disrupts your sleeping pattern. Not just visually because of the blue light comes through your eyes, we're talking radiation disrupts your brainwave pattern. So if somebody says, well, gosh, it would be great to have an actual sleep support product, we're glad you asked because we have one. And the reason why we created it is because we know that one of the key effects of electromagnetic radiation exposure is the sleep disruption. So why wouldn't we want to make sure to give you a product that has melatonin and valerian root and hops and all the fabulous ingredients that are in the iRest, and deliver those ingredients through single file alignment, because the iRest 2 runs through the activation process of single file alignment before it is sent out, and the entire bottle and the entire container runs through the energy resonance technology process. So you're getting sleep support ingredients that you're spraying sublingually for optimal absorption. We know things under the tongue happen to absorb quickly. And imagine you have sublingual spray that is powered by single file alignment and by ERT, and it has key sleep support ingredients in it. No surprise that it's gonna support the body's natural sleeping patterns. That's what it's designed to do. So again, it's not there to prevent anything. It's not there to cure anything. It's not there to treat anything. It's there to give your body the tools the body needs to balance its own sleep patterns. That's what it does and it's designed to do. With Edge, same concept, except in a capsule. We have Edge has, prickly pear cactus extract, patented way of extracting it. Heat shock proteins being triggered, released in your bloodstream to help the body self-repair. Again, giving the body the fuel to make sure that it manages the assault as good as it can, as well as it can, in this electropolluted toxic environment. So without going through every single product in the nourishment arena, the point I want you to walk away with is that every single one of these ingredients has a purpose. Every single one of these products has a reason to exist, and every single one of them was created because we understand the physiological response and domino effect the body goes through when it's exposed to a toxin that is as all-encompassing as electromagnetic radiation is. And we're not even talking about the aspects of air pollution and soil pollution and water pollution and all the other toxins that are out there that your body needs to already deal with. But the way we look at it is air pollution, soil pollution, water pollution, all of those pollutants are fires. And electropollution, because it's omnipresent, is the fuel that's being poured on every single fire. So now you have this perfect storm in a negative way of toxicity that your body deals with on a daily basis, led by now the fastest growing toxin of the 21st century is electromagnetic radiation, electromagnetic toxicity. So that's the nourishment aspect of it, in addition to the hydration aspect. John, I'm going to hand it back to you, see if there's any comments or wrap-ups for that section.
Sure. I'd like to know, does anybody have a story they want to tell? I mean, I love Edge more and more every day because I'm out there beating my body up every morning, but it's so helpful. Who has a story? Anybody want to share a story? Just unmute yourself. Come on in. Let's hear something about our nutritional products. Sue Gromberg.
Hey, guys, I just want to say that the recovery aspect of Edge is phenomenal. I do a lot of traveling, and lately I've been traveling back to back. And if anyone knows about the influence of electropollution at 20,000, 30,000 feet in a metal cage, it's really creates a lot of fatigue. And for me, I need to hit the ground running when I go to expos. I carry Edge wherever I go, and it really creates a level of energy and no fatigue, so I can really do the job I want to do with a lot of vitality. So I love Edge.
I think Edge is amazing. Anybody else? One more quick one.
It's Karen.
Hey, Karen.
I just wanted to share something really quick. I have had a lot going on lately and have used iRest. Probably, I don't use it a lot, but I've used it a lot the last couple of weeks. And just last night, I woke up at like 3 this morning and I thought, oh, I can't be awake at this time. And I had the iRest right by my bed and I thought, but what's going to happen if I take it now? And I just want to say I was able to take the iRest, fall right back to sleep, and get up just perfectly fine this morning and ready to go. So I thought that was cool about in the middle of the night, just putting me right back to sleep. Thanks.
Yeah, you know, Karen, really quick, you brought up a point that I think is very important that people may not recognize about the iRest product. That's pretty cool aspect to it. We recommend with iRest, I believe it's 9 sublingual sprays. So 9 times that you pump the little spray bottle before you go to sleep, sublingually, you know, you kind of swish it around your mouth or leave it under your tongue for about 30 seconds before you swallow it, etc. All the directions are on the bottle. But the point I'm trying to make is this. I've heard a lot of people in GIA using it when they get a little anxious during the day, when they get a little riled up, when they get a little agitated, maybe there's something, they had a rough conversation, rough phone call, or they're really anxious about what's about to happen on a flight or travel trip, whatever it may be, or they got bad news. They don't use the 9 sprays. They use 3 or 4 pumps of it sublingually, and it helps calm them down. It doesn't put them to sleep because the dosage is not enough for that in that regard, but it literally, it calms them down. And I've used it for that before, and I really liked it. It just, there's a sense of calm that overcomes you in a relatively short period of time because it is sublingual. And again, I invite everybody that goes, gosh, this sounds amazing. Look up the ingredients. I mean, these ingredients are known and have been for decades to be really sound sleep support ingredients. They give your body the ability to regulate its own sleeping pattern a lot better. So appreciate you bringing that up.
Before we go on, Karen Grant, could you, there's an 801 number that came on that needs to be muted. Could you help us with that? Appreciate it. Okay, Alfred, we have about 12 minutes to go. Let's get into the next section.
Okay, got it. Sorry, I'm running behind as I always do. So I'm going to speed up here. So let's talk about weight management and why that's a key to the puzzle here in electromagnetic radiation. When we look at it, other than poor nutrition, stress, as I mentioned earlier, that's the #1 reason for people either putting on weight or not being able to get rid of excess weight. When you talk to any nutritionist, any doctor understands weight management, one of the first questions they'll ask you is, how stressful is your job? How stressful is your home life? How stressful is your life in general? Because they know stress puts out cortisol. Cortisol release leads to the body either holding on to weight, not letting it shed its weight, or for weight to be put on much quicker. I can tell you from my own experiences, when I'm stressed, that's when I see my weight fluctuating the most. And we have great weight management products in GIA that help me bring things back into balance. Here's my daily morning GIA Term Shake that I just started. So the point I'm trying to make is that when you're in a highly stressed environment, which your body is, when it's being assaulted 24/7 by electromagnetic radiation, the man-made frequencies that it doesn't understand, that becomes an issue. Another issue with weight is dehydration. Dehydration is not a key reason for weight gain because when you're thirsty, you tend to reach either for foods that are moist. That's what the body craves. And a lot of these foods also have high caloric content, carbohydrates, or they're highly processed. So you're overeating because really what you're trying to satisfy is your thirst, but you're misinterpreting it as hunger. And also dehydration slows down the metabolism of a person. So the body's ability to burn calories or turn fat into energy diminishes when your body's dehydrated. So we got the double whammy here. We got the stress exposure from electromagnetic radiation and other stressors in your life. And you got chronic dehydration, which there's a ton of people on the planet that are chronically dehydrated. And then you throw in processed foods on top of that, and the first and foremost, not so healthy Western diet, and you got a recipe for disaster. And that's part of the reason why obesity is on the rise so much. It's stress combined with processed food, combined with dehydration, bad exercise habits, you name it. So what we're trying to do with our weight management program is first and foremost help to de-stress and re-energize the body through energy resonance technology. That's not just in our weight management products, but that runs like a Reta to all of our products. So when you're wearing a GeoLife pendant, what is it charged with? ERT. When you plug a harmonizer in the wall, what is it charged with? ERT. When you put the CellGuard on your cell phone, what is it charged with? ERT, and of course MRED as well. When you consume GeoTrim Cleanse, which is part of the weight management program, what is it charged with? ERT. So you get the drift. It's a red thread that runs through all the products. The reason why we do that is because we want to feed your body as much bio-friendly frequencies as possible to help counteract the toxicity of the man-made frequencies. So in the weight management system, in addition to the kind of intangible frequency aspect of ERT, we have a detoxification aspect, cleanse with the single file alignment and ERT, and the proven detox support ingredients. I mentioned that earlier already in the nutritional category, because cleanse is a great product that covers both arenas. It's your general daily gentle detoxification, and it's your weight management support detoxification, clearly for the same reasons. We have curbing or curb to curb your appetite in the GeoTrim lineup. Curb, again, is a sublingual spray. Why are we doing this in a spray? It's a liquid. We know we can single file align liquids. We know we can ERT charge liquids. So we have proven appetite suppressant ingredients in a well-tasting dark chocolate flavor that you can sublingually apply. And all I can tell you is try it out, and you'll be quite amazed as to what this product does. And then what you want to do, if you're trying to get a handle on weight that you've put on or that you can't take off because of the stress and the toxicity you're exposed to on a daily basis, you want to consume lean protein, but you want it to be absorbable protein. And we know that a lot of cheap products in the marketplace are either whey protein or soy protein. Both of them have terrible reputations for good reason. They're difficult to digest, and they, even in the case of soy, have shown to have some problematic hormonal impacts on some people. So what do we do in GEA? Of course, we want to be different with those with that product. And what we do is we use brown rice protein and yellow pea protein from the pea, the chickpea, right? So we're talking about proteins that are easy to digest, proteins that are extremely lean, proteins that are from healthy sources, and we couple those proteins with ingredients like Garcinia cambogia, which has quite a bit of science out there on being a tremendous weight loss support ingredient. So as I'm taking a sip of my GeoTrim banana morning shake, I know I'm getting not only the banana, I'm getting brown rice protein, yellow pea protein, I'm getting Garcinia cambogia, and I'm getting konjac root. And what does konjac root do? It's what's called a negative calorie food. Konjac root is the food that gives you a sense of fullness, but it has less calories than it takes the body to burn it. It's like a celery stick. A celery stick, when you eat it, has, I don't know, 5-6 calories, but it takes the body 15-20 calories to burn it. So it's called a negative calorie food. So konjac root is truly a negative calorie food. It gives you a sense of fullness. So I hope you're seeing the triangle here. You have cleansing with the GeoTrim Cleanse. Detoxification is important when you're trying to shed pounds. You're curbing your appetite with a sublingual appetite suppressant spray, single file alignment ERT charge, and you're consuming lean protein, brown rice protein, yellow pea protein, easily digestible. that is low in calories, that has, I think, half a gram of sugar in it, minuscule to none. And you have Garcinia cambogia, a proven weight loss support ingredient, and you got konjac root for a sense of fullness. It's literally the perfect protein powder. And it is the first iteration of it we made flavorless so that you have the opportunity to flavor it the way you would want. So you can make it savory, you can make it sweet. If I add a banana, I have a banana lean shake. If I add spinach or greens, I have a green lean shake. If I put the powder into fresh tomato pasta sauce, I have protein powder in the pasta sauce. So we really were thinking this through in a great way, making sure that people in this highly toxic, highly stressing environment can also attack the weight aspect and the fitness aspect of what radiation and what toxicity does to the body. So that's how that puzzle piece fits. And before I move to the anti-aging category, John, I don't want to overrun time, so let me know what you want me to do, if you want me to transition right away, or if you want to talk about the weight management for just a second.
I'm looking at the screen, I see Dorje. I can remember a picture of you, Dorje, after you've used the lean and the weight management program. Can you say something about it?
Is Dorje unmuted?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, when I started taking that, it was not just the weight loss, excuse me here, but it was also that I felt so good. I remember telling people that I felt like I was in high school again, just that feeling of my body feeling happy, that you kind of lose track of as you age. But it was the most delightful thing. So that was my big takeaway from, it was, maybe I lost 14 pounds that time, but it was how I felt, which was amazing to me.
Yeah, and Dorje, we get a ton of testimonials about Gia Trim. As you know, we've been doing a bunch of weight management contests, and I like what you said about it's not just about weight loss. We have a ton of people that take Gia Trim every single day. They don't need to lose weight, but they like the energy they feel, as you mentioned. They like the gentle detoxification. We toxify every single day in the environment, no doubt about it, especially now with that stress or that man-made frequency around us. And they like to have portion control. They like the fact that with Curb, they can control their appetite a little bit better. When you look at portions in North America, I was born and raised in Europe. I tell you, when I first came to North America, I thought every restaurant that wasn't an all-you-can-eat restaurant was an all-you-can-eat restaurant. That's how big the portions were. I mean, it was incredible. You go to a Claim Jumper or to any of these restaurants that are famous for large portions, you order a slice of a pie. That pie is the size of a European full pie when you go anywhere in Europe. So it's really crazy what's happening in terms of portion control. And so people like to incorporate the weight management system, that's why it's called weight management, not weight loss. It's allowing you to manage your weight a lot better, not just for people that are looking for weight loss. And again, of course, we encourage people to incorporate exercise and to be smart with when they eat and the portions they eat, etc. But again, you have tools here that in a highly stressing environment, as we are in with electromagnetic radiation wreaking havoc on our body every single day, we have tools to help the body be supported in its own management of its weight. And that's really what the Gia Trim product line is all about. And again, that's another important piece of the overall 360-degree approach. Properly hydrated, properly nourished, properly managed in terms of weight, properly managing your aging process or the signs of aging. And of course, the overarching kind of what puts the bow around it all is the radiation intervention products that we have for cell phones, cordless phones, etc. But that's really the starting point. The other elements are key elements to close that 360-degree approach circle. John, I'm going to hand it back to you.
All right, Alfred, we're ready to go. Guys, we're going to go at least 15 minutes over, so I hope you enjoy this. Thanks,
okay, great. I'm sorry for running over. I hope that the information is at least a little bit interesting. So I'm going to try to keep the last segment or second to last short. Anti-aging. What's the problem? Electromagnetic radiation is a massive free radical producer. We know that. The meta studies that we've talked about earlier have shown that it's a major free radical producer. What do we know about human skin? Largest organ in the body, largest collection of cells, all of them facing outward. So what that means is they're exposed to UV radiation, chemical toxins, biological toxins, and electromagnetic radiation. That's your, in addition to your biofield, your energy field that all of us are enveloped by, your skin is your first line of defense to external toxicity. So what happens is the skin's going to show through the signs of premature aging, it's going to show the attacks. And I don't know if you know anybody who works in the computer field, who works in rooms that are full of computers, or you go to large electronic stores and you look at the employees, they don't look very healthy. Their skin usually does not look very healthy. And I'm not trying to generalize, I'm just telling you, when your body is being bombarded and blasted and literally man-made frequencies blasting through you, both energetically and physically, because it penetrates your body. Otherwise, how would cell phones communicate? We are being blasted by this man-made frequencies. So it's going to show up on your skin. It's going to show up in terms of fatigue. It's going to show up in terms of cellular renewal, kind of that renewal that we bank on every night when we go to sleep, that we hope we wake up and we have some fresher skin cells on our body. The body does that. But the skin needs hydration, it needs nourishment, and it needs a defense against the external attack. And so again, when you look at what we do in anti-aging, because that's such an important component, we make sure that we use botanical ingredients. For example, in the Eye Glow, there's 17 botanical ingredients in it. It's paraben-free, it's sulfate-free, it's as clean a product as you're ever gonna get, and it's a concentrate, and it's powered by energy resonance technology and single file alignment. So you get the concentrate home, you squeeze it in the bottle, you fill it up with eye water, and you start spraying your face with it. Why? If you spray your face multiple times with botanical ingredients that are delivered with a highly hydrating liquid like the eye water, and John's demonstrating it right now how that's done, this is nourishment for your skin. You're feeding it botanicals that are important to support the body's own skin renewal and the defense against external toxicity. In addition to that, we have Hydrogem. These are gem extract based products, a day product and a night product, a day serum and a night serum. And the night, what we have is we have a lot of oils that we put into the product because your body needs that nourishment, that food to recover overnight. During the day, the formula is a little bit lighter and it's formulated differently for your daytime hydration and support. So between Hydrogem and Eye Glow, you have a great 1-2 combination of your morning, that's your Hydrogem day serum. During the day, that's your Eye Glow, spritzing and spraying botanicals. And at night, that's your essential oils that are in the Hydrogem night serum. So you have beautifully bookmarked the Eye Glow, your daily throughout the day, spraying it, and then you have it bookmarked with the morning serum and the evening serum of the Hydrogem. So again, why have we created these products? Because we know that organs are being affected by electromagnetic radiation exposure. Science has established that. So what do we know? Body has, largest organ is the skin. Skin faces outwards. It's our calling card. How old are you? How healthy are you? What lifestyle do you live? I mean, the face and the skin tells a lot about a person. And so we need to make sure that we give your body the proper hydration, the proper nourishment, and the proper energetic signature with ERT, that the body has all the tools it needs to self-repair, to be nourished, to make sure that it does its job of skin renewal properly, etc. Again, these are support ingredients to allow the body to do what it does best. And when your skin is hydrated, when your skin is properly nourished, when your skin has the right kind of energetic vibration to it, now your resistance to toxicity is increased. All of this, what it's doing, it's constantly feeding your body's ability to resist the toxic environment that you live in, that you cannot escape. And so the last, to kind of put the bow around of this, the reason why I'm not spending a whole lot of time on the TerraGeo products is because that's the obvious piece of the puzzle. To have a CellGuard a cell phone case on your cell phone, and to have the universal guards on your router, and to have the harmonizer in your home, the car harmonizer in your car, the pendant around your neck. We've talked about all of those things ad nauseum, and you know what MRET and ERT are designed to do in help your body counteract the effects of radiation exposure from those various devices, your cell phone, your cordless phone, your router, inside your car, when you travel, etc. Those are staples. We don't even have to, that's like the essence, that's the cornerstone to go, okay, that's where it all starts. But if you look at it visually, when you look at the wheel of GIA, as we've called it, and it's in our product brochure, I'm sure you've seen it in webinars and on the website, the wheel of GIA, the wheel of wellness in GIA has to have these puzzle pieces. We would not do you a service, or we would do you a disservice if all we talked about is a CellGuard case, and if all we talked about is a universal guard, because that doesn't address your hydration effects of EMR exposure. That doesn't address the weight management aspect of EMR. That doesn't address the effects that EMR and toxicity has on your skin. That doesn't address the metabolism aspect of EMR. That's just your starting point to go, okay, how can I start handling EMR exposure and toxicity? How can I incorporate these technologies in my life? But the other pieces of the puzzle that I spend the majority of the time talking about today, those are the pieces that make GIA unique and different, that make GIA completely different than anybody else in the marketplace, because we see EMR as a holistic problem that needs a holistic, all-encompassing approach. It's a 360-degree problem that requires a 360-degree approach. 360-degree, not just because we're surrounded by electromagnetic radiation. 360 degrees is because it impacts every single aspect of your physiology. Your hydration levels, your nourishment levels, your metabolism, the way you sleep, the way your joints feel, the way you recover, the way you put on weight or can't lose weight, the way your face looks, the way your skin ages, all of those things. Why? Because it's a free radical producing machine, electromagnetic radiation. It's a stress producing machine. It is relentless. It is constantly bombarding your biofield. It's constantly bombarding every single cell in your body, and that will eventually show up in your body. It'll show up in the processes that I explained earlier today. And the last thing I want to share with you is this. When you are exposed to electromagnetic radiation, especially now with 5G coming, there is no escaping it. The only thing you could possibly do is build yourself a stainless steel bunker, make sure that you eliminate all electromagnetic radiation devices out from the inside of the bunker, otherwise you have kind of a microwave effect. And that's really the only solution, but nobody's gonna do that. So unless you build yourself that stainless steel radiation protected bunker, we are all destined to live in a wireless environment. And let's face it, many of us love the conveniences. I don't want to give up my cell phone, but I want to use my cell phone in a smart way. I want to use it in the most helpful way possible. I don't want to give up my wireless laptop, but I want to make sure that I use intelligent, patented, proprietary technologies to help counteract the effects that this technology has on me. So it's not about running from wireless. It's not about banning wireless. It is about embracing its convenience, but being smart about how you counteract its effects and being smart about how you live your wireless lifestyle. And that's the key question that needs to be asked of people around the world now. What does your wireless lifestyle look like? It's a loaded question, and a lot of people may not know how to answer it, but that's a great door opener. What does your wireless lifestyle look like? Well, how many cell phones do you have in a house? Do you have a smart home or not? Is your temperature controlled by a wireless gadget, or do you manually push a button? What does your car look like? How old's your car? Does it have a navigation system? You get the point. You can literally break down a person's wireless lifestyle very quickly, and once they do, and you start connecting the dots and you go, well, here's your wireless lifestyle, and here's the things that you're unhappy with physically. You're carrying around 25 pounds too much. You're feeling thirsty all the time. You're not sleeping well at night. You feel sluggish. You don't have a lot of energy. Well, let's connect the dots for you here. Let's connect the dots between your wireless lifestyle, what impact it may have on your body, and now let me introduce you to some concepts and philosophies and products and technologies that people are getting really, really great results with, that are not medical devices. You don't need a prescription for them. They don't have 17,000 side effects like pharmaceutical products have that you see on TV advertised every single day, where half the advertisement is about the side effects that the thing has. These are over-the-counter, intelligently designed wellness products that are designed to support your body's ability to resist and withstand the assault that we're in every single day. These are wellness support products, and that's it. And if you incorporate them properly in your life, as we've seen, there's a lot of people that are having phenomenal results with those products. So I hope that what you walk away with today is why this 360-degree, all-encompassing, multiple puzzle pieces in wellness approach is not only important, but why it's different than what anybody else does, and why it's a tremendous opportunity for all of you guys to not just be a sliver of attacking this problem, but to have the entire pie of attacking it. So that's it from my end. John, I'm going to hand it back to you.
You know, it's interesting as I listen to you today, and this is the second time that I've seen you go through the whole, putting all the puzzle pieces together, and the EMF protection has been at the end every time. And I think that's a great way to think of it. I know a lot of people start at that point and then go from there. But I think something else you said today when you were talking about iThrive and Cleanse, that if you didn't know anything about EMF, you would still be using iThrive and Cleanse with iWater. And I think that's what I wanted you to bring out today, is that these products, I get goosebumps really thinking about the Inspired Wellness Home and telling the whole story and the results that people get from using the whole line of products, not just safeguarding themselves.
Right. And John, I know I'm getting over, but I'm passionate about this, and I want to make this one more point about the Inspired Wellness Home. The reason why we put the Inspired Wellness Home packages together, you know this better than anybody, and I know Sue Gromberg and Don Gromberg was part of the conversations in an essential way. Ming Lovejoy was part of the conversations. Dave Stapp, everybody we're talking key leaders in the company, had great input. It was a great collaborative effort, I felt, between the company and the field, to say, listen, we have this 360-degree approach. Let's put actual product concepts and packages together, and let's put language together for people to connect the dots, where they don't have to go, like I just did for an hour and 15 minutes, through all the 5 product categories and explain how it's all connected, but to be able to say, listen, here's the good news. You're living in a home, your wireless lifestyle is pretty intense, sounds like, for most people. Okay, well, here's something for you to take a look at. It's called the Inspired Wellness Home Package, and it contains products from the categories of hydration, energy, nourishment, weight management, anti-aging. And it comes in a bronze and a silver and a gold. Here's the breakdown of the differences in the packages. And it literally, the Inspired Wellness Home concept and the packages are the child that was birthed out of this 360-degree approach. It's the physical manifestation and the product manifestation and the philosophy manifestation of understanding why a 360-degree approach is much more powerful than just focusing on one sliver of this whole problem. It's a 360-degree problem that requires a 360-degree solution. And that's why we bring all-encompassing wellness solutions to people living in the wireless world. And that's what the Inspired Wellness Home program is such a great representation of. John?
Well, 2 of my favorite words are good news, that's for sure. And I think that's what we've done today. Karen, Grant, I'm going to turn it back to you to close it out.
I'm amazed, honestly, and I'm so grateful for this all-encompassing 360-degree approach today, so that we could have one call that was one beautiful hour. And I sent out a text to several of my team that wasn't here, and I said, you're missing an hour of pure amazingness right now. And I am thankful that you allowed this to be recorded, because I think that there's many of us that are going to want to go back, Alfred, and watch this recording. It put puzzle pieces. It was like you were just snapping puzzle pieces into place for me. And as much as I have loved learning, I just think you're one of the most phenomenal teachers that I have ever met. I mean, you make this all so fascinating and interesting and informative. And my husband is renovating our kitchen right now, and he keeps walking over. He can't stay away from the screen, walking over and having to sit down and listen. Thank you again, John, for asking and inviting Alfred to this call. There are many people, Tracy Hillis, have been texting me throughout it saying, I couldn't be here today. Please send me the recording. We love and appreciate you, Alfred, and so much for doing this for all of us today. And John, for engineering it, thinking it up, and asking Alfred. Thank you all to the 29 people. At one point, we had 29 people. You're not a number. You're very important. And we care about every single one of you. And I love the cross-line spirit in GIA, the way that you all have shown me love, that you show each other love, that everybody's here to help one another. Thank you so much for joining us on Director School and making this a wonderful place to be on Friday mornings. This will be recorded. I've had a couple people texting me and saying, I've had to miss all of the Director Schools. Could you please put them in a Dropbox file and send me the whole link? So we will work on that. I'll work on that with John, and we'll put them all together so that if you have had to miss, those of you who are watching this recording later, that you'll be able to watch them because they're all phenomenal. This one, powerful. Again, thank you, Alfred. Give Linda our love today. We wish we were in Carlsbad, down there in sunny California with you, but thank you. Everybody, thanks, and we'll be back here next Friday for another Director School. I love this. I'm learning so much. It's keeping me motivated from day to day, just looking forward to it. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good one. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.